In this lesson, we'll talk about how to graph a line in slope-intercept form. Now, slope-intercept form has the equation solved for y, and then on the right side there will be an x term and a constant. The coefficient of the x term that I have here as m is the slope every time, and the y-intercept is the b. So every time you see y equals x term plus constant, the coefficient is the slope and the constant is the y-intercept. That makes these really easy to graph. In the past, when we wanted to graph a line, we had to make a table and plug in lots of different values for x and calculate different values for y and then plot the xy points. This is much faster. To graph, all we'll have to do is plot the y-intercept, which we will see here, and then we will plot a second point on the line by using slope as rise over run. Let me show you here. Let's graph y equals -3/2 x plus 2. So first, I know that my y-intercept is 2, so I plot that on the y-axis here. Then slope is rise over run. Slope is -3 over 2. So that would be a rise of -3, in other words, down 3, and the 2 is positive, so I go to the right 2. So I'm going to start at my y-intercept and go down 3 and to the right 2, and I will put a dot right here, and then I will connect the dots. Now, I want to point out to you that sometimes going whatever way the slope is telling you to go may not be convenient. Maybe your graph is not big enough, or you're going to run out of paper or room for some reason. So what I do in that case, instead of going down and then right, I know that I could always also choose to attach the negative to the bottom number instead of the top number. Now if I think about rise over run, the rise is positive and the run is negative. So from my y-intercept, I could have chosen to go up 3 and left 2. And I could put the dot there, and then that would still force me to draw the same line. So I would have this point instead of this one, but you can see that they're all three on the same line, so it doesn't matter which two I have. Let's graph another line together. F of x equals 3/5 x plus 1. Now we've seen before that f of x takes the place of y, so this is still just our same old linear function. I have a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of 3/5. So I will plot my y-intercept of 1, and then I will use the slope to go up 3, right 5, and I'll put a dot right here, and now I can connect those two dots. Now, let's do the same thing here that we did on the last one, and let's see what would happen. How could we get our second point if we couldn't go up and right? Well, we know that slope is +3 over +5, but that's a positive number. We also could get a positive number if we had negative divided by negative. So I could also choose to go down 3 and left 5, and that would put me here, which gives me just another point on this same line. So if slope is positive, I can either go up and right or down and left. And finally, let's look at f of x equals -3x plus 4. So in this case, the y-intercept is 4, and the slope is -3 over 1. So I put my y-intercept at 4, and now since the slope is -3 over 1, I'll go down 3 and right 1. I'll put a dot there, connect the dots. But I will also note that instead of going down and right, We could have also chosen to go left, I'm sorry, not left, but up 3, and left 1. So I can either go down and right, or up and left. And if we choose to go up and left, then we'll have a point here, which is part of the same line.